Traveling to Vietnam is an adventure full of captivating experiences, from bustling cities to serene landscapes, aromatic cuisine, and rich cultural traditions. Yet, as with any journey to a new country, knowing what to avoid can make your trip smoother, safer, and more respectful to local customs. Whether you're a seasoned explorer or embarking on your first adventure to Southeast Asia, understanding the common pitfalls and cultural faux pas to avoid is essential. Here are some of the things you should steer clear of when traveling in Vietnam. First and foremost, avoid being disrespectful to local customs and traditions. Vietnam is a country with deep-rooted cultural norms, many of which may differ significantly from your own. For example, dress codes are important, especially when visiting religious sites such as temples and pagodas. Revealing clothing is generally frowned upon in these places. Remember to cover your shoulders, avoid short skirts or shorts, and remove your shoes before entering sacred spaces. When in doubt, look to the locals and follow their lead. Avoid raising your voice or losing your temper in public. The Vietnamese, for the most part, value a calm and composed demeanor. Losing your cool can be seen as a loss of face, both for yourself and those around you. If you encounter challenges, whether it's a dispute over a price or a misunderstanding, try to stay calm and polite. Politeness and patience will get you much further than anger. Another common mistake is not taking care of your belongings. Petty theft, such as bag snatching and pickpocketing, can be a concern in busy cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. Always keep your bags zipped and close to your body, especially in crowded areas and on public transportation. Avoid flashing expensive electronics or large amounts of cash in public. At night, it's smart to avoid walking alone through poorly lit or unfamiliar neighborhoods. When it comes to transportation, be aware of the risks and avoid unlicensed taxis or motorbike drivers. While services like Grab offer reliable rides, some taxis may overcharge tourists or take unnecessarily long routes. Always agree on a price before getting into a taxi if it doesn't have a meter, and double-check for reputable company branding. Similarly, if you rent a motorbike, only do so from respected sources, use a helmet, and make sure you have the appropriate driving license to avoid trouble with local police. Avoid drinking tap water in Vietnam. While bottled water is widely available and inexpensive, tap water is generally not considered safe for foreigners to drink. Even in urban areas, use bottled or filtered water not only for drinking, but also for brushing your teeth. Be mindful of ice as well, which may not always be made from purified water. It's also wise to avoid consuming street food from vendors with poor hygiene. Vietnamese street food is world-renowned, and sampling it is a highlight of any visit. Yet, food safety standards vary. Look for vendors who prepare food fresh, have busy stalls, a sign of high turnover and popularity with locals, and wash their hands often. Avoid pre-cooked foods that have been sitting out in the sun and opt for dishes that are made to order. Avoid assuming English will be spoken everywhere you go. While many people in urban centers, hotels, and tourist areas may speak basic English, this is less common in rural or off-the-beaten-path destinations. Learning a few simple Vietnamese phrases like Xin chào, hello, cảm ơn, thank you, or Bao Nhiêu Tiền? How much is this? Will go a long way in making connections and showing respect. Another thing to steer clear of is discussing sensitive topics. Political matters, particularly those involving the government, war, or border disputes, can be touchy subjects. It's best to avoid engaging in these discussions with locals unless you know them extremely well, as such topics can be seen as disrespectful or even get you into trouble with authorities. Don't neglect to carry small change. While large hotels and Western restaurants may accept major credit cards, many everyday transactions at markets, street stalls, or with taxis require cash, preferably in smaller denominations. Vendors often have little change for large bills, and paying with big notes can cause frustration or delays. Plan to carry a mix of small notes for convenience. Avoid being careless when crossing the street. Cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are famous for their chaotic traffic, especially the endless streams of motorbikes. To cross safely, look both ways, move slowly and steadily, and avoid making sudden movements. Locals often cross at a steady pace, allowing drivers to anticipate and weave around them. Wait for a lull in traffic, and when possible, cross with a group. Be cautious about the use of drones and photography. In some areas, flying drones is illegal or requires a special permit. It's also considered disrespectful to take photographs inside temples or of people, especially monks, without asking permission. Always check for signage or ask before taking photos, particularly in religious or military areas. Avoid making comparisons with neighboring countries. While Vietnam welcomes millions of tourists each year, locals can be sensitive to comparisons with countries like Thailand or China. Each country in Southeast Asia is unique, with its own history, culture, and traditions, and making unfavorable comparisons can cause offense. It's wise to avoid reckless behavior involving wild or stray animals. While you may see monkeys, dogs, or cats on the streets or in certain tourist destinations, they may carry diseases like rabies or be unpredictable in their behavior. Resist the temptation to feed or touch them. If you're planning to rent a motorbike or scooter, avoid doing so without proper experience. Vietnamese roads can be challenging even for seasoned drivers, with a unique flow and many unspoken rules. Accidents involving tourists are unfortunately common, so if you're not confident on two wheels, consider sticking to other forms of transportation. Finally, avoid participating in or supporting the trade of illegal wildlife or cultural artifacts. Markets sometimes offer products made from endangered animals or centuries-old relics, which is not only illegal, but harmful to cultural heritage and ecosystems. Traveling in Vietnam is an unforgettable experience, made richer by understanding and respecting its unique culture and customs. By steering clear of these common mistakes and making an effort to learn about local ways, you'll enjoy a more rewarding, authentic, and trouble-free journey, leaving you with memories that last a lifetime. Remember, a little knowledge and consideration go a long way in making your travels both enjoyable and respectful for all involved.